Okay, so today we're going like deep on something that's kind of all over the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this whole thing about ego and how being online can really like mess with it.
Yeah, getting all those likes and comments can totally change how you see yourself, right?
For sure. And we found this YouTube video that like really dives into this whole thing.
Okay.
It's called 9 Golden Rules to Destroy Her Ego. Must know.
Wow.
It's from this channel, Far From Weak.
All right, so right off the bat, it sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, just the title, it's about like taking down someone's ego and it's all about like men and women.
Yeah, that definitely sets a specific tone.
So we want to like break down these 9 rules and figure out what they're really saying about like relationships and power dynamics.
Sounds good.
All right, so rule number 1 is you are superior.
Right out the gate with a strong one.
Yeah, so they're basically saying that like if a guy is working hard on himself and like trying to be better, then he should feel superior to women who they say are mostly focused on looks.
Huh. So, like, they're already setting up this hierarchy.
Yeah, and it goes even further. Like, they're saying that a lot of women think most men are below them. They use words like simps and average guys.
Okay, that's pretty harsh.
So their argument is that men need to feel superior to combat what they see as like an inflated female ego.
So what do you think about that? I mean, it's a pretty bold statement.
It's definitely a controversial take, to say the least.
Yeah, like, should one person in a relationship really feel superior to the other?
Right, and then they bring up this concept of hypergamy.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that thrown around online.
So they explain it as like women are naturally drawn to men who they see as being better than them.
So if she doesn't think he's like a step up, she won't be interested.
Exactly. And the video even says that while equality sounds nice, it might not be how things actually work. If one person is way more accomplished or driven.
Interesting. So they're kind of like rejecting this idea of equality in relationships.
Yeah, and they use this analogy of like a gym goer versus a lazy person.
Okay, I get it. Like, they're not on the same level.
Right, and they're saying that same logic applies to relationships.
So based on that logic, if a guy genuinely feels superior because of what he's achieved, then he won't put her on a pedestal.
And that's the key, according to this video, to like deflating her ego.
So it's all about creating this power dynamic.
Exactly. And so rule number 2 is do not seek her validation.
Okay, so this one seems to be about being self-reliant.
Yeah, like they're really against men seeking approval from women, especially about their looks or how she feels about him.
So, like, constantly asking her opinion on his clothes or needing reassurance that she likes him.
Right, they see that as weak and unmanly.
Okay, so a confident guy shouldn't need that external validation.
And they say that looking for that approval actually boosts her ego.
I wonder why they think that.
Well, I guess when a guy is always seeking her approval, it puts her in this position of power.
Like, he's relying on her judgment.
And that might make her feel more important.
That makes sense within their framework.
Okay, moving on to rule number 3. Do not always validate her looks.
So this one's interesting.
Yeah, they're basically saying that women get tons of compliments on their appearance all the time.
So it's like nothing special if a guy just adds to that.
Right, you become just another guy saying, you look great.
Yeah. So they're suggesting that not always complimenting her looks can make a man stand out.
Exactly. It's about being more selective with your praise.
So it's not that you should never compliment her, but maybe focus on something else.
Like her accomplishments or her character, or even the effort she put into her look instead of just like a generic compliment.
So noticing the deeper stuff.
All right, rule number 4 is prioritize your goals above her.
This one seems to be about having your own life.
Yeah, it's all about a man's purpose. Like his goals and ambitions should always come first, even before relationships.
So even if it means missing dates or focusing on work.
Exactly, because it shows he's not easily distracted.
It's like she can't just like pull him away from his goals.
And they say that this actually makes her respect him more because he has his own thing going on.
It's like he's not just waiting around for her.
Okay, rule number 5 is don't be so eager to be with her.
So this one's about playing it cool.
Yeah, like don't be too available or too enthusiastic.
Because it might make her less interested.
Exactly. They're saying that if a guy is always like super eager to see her, it can inflate her ego.
Yeah, she might feel like she has him wrapped around her finger.
Right, so the advice is to create some space and let her wonder a little bit.
Oh, and they gave that example of like if she asks if he's happy to see her.
Yeah, he should just play it cool, not get all like over the top excited.
Interesting. Okay, what's rule number 6?
It's never argue with her or get emotional.
So this one's about staying calm in conflict.
Exactly. They're saying that getting emotional or arguing gives her power.
Like she's getting a rise out of him.
Right, and that can boost her ego. So the advice is to not engage in those arguments.
Especially if she's being unreasonable.
Yeah, just stay detached and don't let her see you sweat.
Okay, rule number 7 is about jealousy.
Never get jealous about other men around her.
So this one seems to be about confidence and trust,
Yeah, they say that showing jealousy is a sign of insecurity.
and that it can actually make her ego bigger.
It's like they're saying that the presence of other men is a test for her.
A test of her loyalty,
And if she doesn't respect the boundaries, then he should just walk away.
without getting all jealous and possessive.
Exactly, because that just gives her more control.
Okay, rule number 8 is a little more specific.
Don't hit her up right after you two have had a moment together.
So this is about like post-date behavior.
Yeah, they're saying that a guy shouldn't immediately text her after they've spent time together.
It's like, give her some space to miss him.
Right, and it's contrasted with those guys who instantly send those lovey-dovey texts.
Which they say doesn't give her a chance to think about the interaction.
So it's all about maintaining a bit of mystery.
And not seeming too available.
Okay, and finally, rule number 9, reject her.
Whoa, that's a strong one.
Yeah, they're saying that women don't experience rejection as often as men do.
So it has a bigger impact on them.
And that rejecting a woman shows that he's selective and valuable.
Makes her work harder for his attention.
It's like flipping the script, instead of him chasing her.
She has to chase him.
So there you have it, the 9 golden rules from Far From Weak on how to destroy a woman's ego.
It's definitely a very particular view on relationships.
Yeah, and it sparked a lot of debate online.
I mean, it goes against a lot of what we typically hear about healthy relationships.
But it is interesting to think about these ideas, about ego and validation and power dynamics.
Absolutely, and how they play out in real life.
So as you've been listening to this deep dive, we hope it's given you some things to ponder.
Yeah, like, how do these rules resonate with your own experiences?
Do you agree with any of them, or do they totally clash with your views on relationships?
It's a complex topic for sure.
And it's important to think critically about these different perspectives, even the ones that might seem controversial.
Because they can challenge our assumptions and make us see things in a new light.
So we encourage you to keep exploring these ideas and keep the conversation going.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.